The drivers released onto the circuit then for our pre-final here at Zuera in northern Spain. It's the 11-lap race for the senior category. This is the second and final round of the X30 Euro Series. And we've got just 6 points covering the top three of the championship. Berke Besler on 88 points is the championship leader. On 86 points, it's Brett Ward. On 82 points, it's Hugo Ellis. The points leader is fourth on the grid. Brett Ward, second in the championship, is third on the grid. And Hugo Ellis, who is third in the championship, is just behind them, fifth on the grid after a pretty good day yesterday. There is the graphic on screen at Telemundi TV to give you the full running order. 89 points available over the course of the next two races. So 34 points for a win in the pre-final and 55 points if you win the final itself this afternoon. So, on pole position, Mauricio van der Laan from Spain for LTP competition. His teammate, a compatriot, Carlos Leon, is alongside. Brett Ward for the MLC Motorsport has done well to qualify third. Berke Besler for Move On Power in fourth place. Hugo Ellis for Vital Motorsport is fifth. Olivani for MLC Motorsport is sixth. So two Spaniards on the front row, a British driver and a Turkish driver on row two. Two British drivers on row 3, and then we have two French drivers on row 4. David Bowman, number 211, who is fourth in the championship, still could factor in all of this. Also Escartin for Brawn Racing is 8th, and then to complete the top 10 we've got Taylor Greenfield from Peru, who was on the podium in the super category in Italy last month and has now switched to the senior category for this weekend. And making his debut, Jonathan Brown for the T-Sport team. He's going to be lining up 11th on the grid, having had to miss the first round, as we heard yesterday, because he had exam commitments, but planning on a full season in Europe next year. So the Irish driver, who's shown some good pace at times this weekend, could want coming through the order. So that's the first few rows of the grid. We've got Ati Kamala up there in the middle of the pack as well. The Finnish driver, 16 years of age, was when he started racing fairly late. He's only 18 years of age now, and last year finishing fourth in the Finnish Championship. So Ati Kamala on his debut in the Euro Series in kart number 237. Perhaps one to watch here from the 7th row of the grid. So there will be 19 karts. It will be an 11-lap race. Points for this one, and it's going to determine the starting order for this afternoon's longer race, the final, with more points available to it. Mauricio van der Laan has proven unbeatable so far. It's the first time this weekend he started from pole position, though. That honour has belonged to Berke Besler so far. Let's see what Berke can do from the outside of row 2. There he is in the white suit and the orangey and green helmet, second back on the right. I'm Chris Hartley, trackside, ready to talk you through the X30 Senior Pre-Final. The car's ready for the rolling start. 1.7 kilometres per lap. It's super quick. It's super hot. It's now 24 degrees here. It's going to be much, much hotter than it was at this time yesterday. Here we go then. Ready for the rolling start. It is go. Lights out. Mauricio van der Laan. Great start. Carlos Leon is looking to go with him from the outside of row 1, but he's going to lose at least one place to Brett Ward. Or is he? Because no, he hangs it around the outside of turn 2. And that's fabulous stuff from Carlos Leon to hang on to his second place. So it's the same top two with van der Laan and Leon, and Brett Ward was trying to fight his way through, but it's all changed down at the hairpin. There's one or two drivers kicking up dust as well. Who comes through in third? It's still going to be Brett, isn't it? Yeah, Brett Ward still in third place, and Hugo Ellis in fourth position. Berke Besler, the championship leader, has dropped to 6th place. So Berke dropping back a bit. And now about to get 5th place back. He doesn't wait long, does he? He gets past David Bowman to get 5th place back. So it is the pole sitter, Mauricio van der Laan and Carlos Leon in second. Third place, Brett Ward. Fourth place, Hugo Ellis. Fifth place now, Berke Besler. And 6th place, David Bowman, as they make their way through the order. It looks like Taylor Greenfield is leading the second group of karts. He's there in 7th place. Olivani's lost a couple of places from the outside row. He's just inside the top 10, but they've all survived the first lap of the race without too many dramas. Head down then in the background for Berke Besler, as you can see him try to catch the lead group up. Through they go. Mauricio van der Laan under pressure from his teammate Carlos Leon, but he'd be pleased that if anybody's got to be right behind him, it's going to be his teammate. And Carlos Leon, though, he's not wanting to stay there long. He launches one down the inside into the hairpin, and we've got a new race leader. So Carlos Leon goes through. First place for him at the start of lap number 2. He's there with the lightish green helmet. The darker blue-coloured helmet is Mauricio van der Laan. And then it's Brett Ward, tucks up right behind them, number 217, with a blue race suit there in third place. Fresh off the back of success in the Super 1 British Championship. He won the last round recently at the old Fullbeck circuit up in Lincolnshire. So he's driving as well as ever is Brett Ward. He was the driver who got pole position in the first round of this series in Italy. He won all the heats. He won the pre-final. It was in the final. It didn't quite work out for him, but he still drove well to finish in second place, which is why he's so close to Berke Besler in the points. Now, those three have pulled away from Hugo Ellis in fourth place, and Hugo has got company because Berke Besler is almost up to him now as they go on to the start of lap number 3 through turn 1, and the top three bunch up together, but no change at the turn. At the hairpin, though, it might change again because it's another good opportunity to overtake as they close up under braking. Nobody quite makes a move yet, though, so I don't think there's been a change just yet. Berke Besler getting alongside and going through now past Hugo Ellis on the way out of the corner. So he started the move into the hairpin. He made it finish coming out of it. And by the time they arrive at turn 4, it's the Turkish driver up to 4th place. Hugo Ellis down to 5th position. David Bowman is in 6th place. And then 7th place, it's Christophe Chani, the French driver, who has sort of been in the midfield most of the weekend, but looked really competitive this morning in warm-up. I think he went 5th fastest in the warm-up session this morning. So Christophe Chani doing a good job here as they weave their way through the S-bend section towards the end of this lap. Carlos Leon leading what's becoming an increasingly long snake of karts now because the top 3 are no longer clear of the pack. They're all starting to catch up to the leaders. Look at that. The top 7 are almost as one here as they go over the start-finish line. Mauricio van der Laan senses this and he's now itching to get back into the lead of the race, back past his teammate. Brett Ward, to me, looks happy enough to sit in 3rd place. 3rd place would be a good position to be in on the grid for the final. It'd be the inside line. And he knows that the 2 drivers ahead of him are not really drivers he needs to worry about in terms of the championship, the overall championship, which is his overriding goal this weekend. However, if he has a glance over his shoulder, he'll see the number 223 kart, and he'll see Berke Besler, and he'll see his closest rival. He does exactly that. He looks over his shoulder, and now he knows the man behind him is the championship leader. But Brett Ward at the moment is going to score 1 more point than Berke, and that would bring the gap down to just a single point going into the final race. So it would essentially become a winner-takes-all race between Ward and Besler in that final. If they both do well. If they don't both do well, Hugo Ellis can still win the championship. So too can David Bowman, who looks quick enough here, and is in that lead group now. Top 4 and a slight gap back to 5th, 6th and 7th, but not much. 4 laps complete. Over the line they come. Leon, van der Laan and Brett Ward still the top 3. Berke Besler just off that group in 4th place. 5th, 6th and 7th follow each other into turn 2 with Hugo Ellis, Christopher Chani and David Bowman. So Chani ahead of Bowman now. Olivani is up to 8th. Jonathan Brown in 9th place at the head of the 3rd group of karts. And then we've got Mike Bartels is having a good run here. He's gained about 5 places, the Dutch driver, and into the top 10 as we see a change for 5th place now. And that's Christopher Chani going through to the head of the 2nd group. David Bowman follows him through, and Hugo Ellis drops back a couple of places to 7th. Now, what about this? Berke Besler down the inside at turn 6 to get past Brett Ward. So Besler goes 3rd and ahead of his championship rival. That gives him 32 points if they stay like this. 31 points for Brett Ward. The gap will grow to 3 points, but it's still barely anything, is it? It's still going to go down to the wire as we see the top 2 getting as close as ever on the run into turn 9. Through turn 10 they come, accelerating the seniors down towards their top speed, touching around about 100 kilometres an hour they will be down this straight into this blindingly quick right-hand corner. We're approaching half distance. 5 laps done of the 11. And there's nobody really making a move just yet, but they're all close enough to play their part. Berke Besler is closing up. Now, if you can't be third, you want to be first. You don't really want to be second. You don't really want to be in the outside line for the final. I know there's more points available. I think most drivers would settle for a point less than the inside line for the start of the race if you gave them the choice. And Berke certainly had his fair share of outside starting positions in Italy. But he looks quick enough to go for the lead. Brett Ward has not quite been able to hang on to him. Christopher Chani is pushing hard to stay ahead of David Bowman in 4th and 5th positions. They're now both pulling away from Hugo Ellis. And then you've got Olivani coming back up the order like he's done in every race so far this weekend, because he's suffered outside grid positions as well all weekend long. But Ollie's got really good pace here this weekend, his debut in Spain. And Varney, for my money, is quicker than Hugo Ellis and catching up the group ahead. And plenty of time for him still to make up some more positions here. So through they go. Mauricio van der Laan now in a sandwich because it's three together once again. This time, instead of Brett Ward, he's got Berke Besler for company. They've all pulled away from Brett, who's in fourth place. Christopher Shani still ahead of David Bowman, but Bowman looking pretty determined at the hairpin. So too is Berke Besler, who slots one down the inside and goes second. So Besler into second place now. That immediately brings Brett Ward onto everybody's case. So he gets stuck in as well and goes through to third. So Mauricio van der Laan has dropped to fourth place with that. In the blink of an eye, Brett Ward was in exactly the right position there. He wasn't so close to them that he got delayed by the incident. Well, not the incident, the overtake. He was far enough back that he could keep his speed through the corner, but he wasn't so far back that he couldn't take advantage. And so Brett Ward goes up to third place now. Carlos Leon is the leader. Berke Besler now second. Brett Ward now third. Down to fourth place, the pole sitter, Mauricio van der Laan. Christopher Shani and David Bowman have got Hugo Ellis coming back at them. That's fourth, fifth and sixth. And Ollie Varney catching them all up in seventh place. 7 laps done, 4 to go. Drivers being wheeled on by their mechanics and their teams over the pit wall as they charge flat out into turn number 1. Berke Besler closing up to Carlos Leon, but he's showing great maturity this weekend. He showed a huge amount of patience in his driving. But when he needs to, he goes for the moves, and that is what he does. Relentless move, ruthless but clean and fair from Berke Besler. Lovely overtake. He now leads the race. Good move down at the hairpin. So Besler through. Second place then is now the long-time race leader, Carlos Leon. And then we got Brett Ward and Mauricio van der Laan in the lead group. And Brett Ward suddenly getting stuck in. He goes down the inside at turn 6 and goes second. So the top 2 in the championship and now the top 2 in the race. The 2 Spaniards push back to third and fourth positions respectively. Christopher Shani is still driving really well in 5th place, and he's pulled away a little bit now from David Bowman. Hugo Ellis is next up in 7th place. The green and white suit, the orangish tint on the front of his helmet. And then you've got, now right with that group, Ollie Varney with the green helmet for MLC Motorsport, who is quick enough to start making some progress in the last few laps of the race. He's onto the tail almost of his compatriot Hugo Ellis. At the front of the field, though, tiny bit of contact there, I think, on the way into turn number 2. Brett Ward getting as close as he dares to Berke Besler. Points at stake here for the championship as well, don't forget. But they've got to survive. They've got to make sure they're somewhere near the front of the grid for the final. The top 4 all together here. Brett Ward, is he going to risk it all for another point and to close to within 1 point of the championship leader? Or is he going to settle for second place? Of course, the real downside for Brett is that outside starting position. It's not so much of a disadvantage as it was in Italy, but it isn't great as Mauricio van der Laan goes down the inside of his teammate for third place at turn 6. Your race order is as follows. Berke Besler in first, Brett Ward in second, Mauricio van der Laan is third. In fourth place, we got Carlos Leon. And there in 5th place, David Bowman has got ahead finally of Christopher Shani, who's down to 6th place. Ollie Varney has gained a place up to 7th, and Hugo Ellis is at the back of the second group in 8th place. 2 laps to go as they come towards the start-finish line. Berke Besler drives down the entire straight looking over his shoulder because Brett Ward is swarming around. He goes right, he goes left, he tries to find a gap. There is no gap. Carlos Leon tries to get past his teammate. They all concertina up. David Bowman has joined them now. We got 5 for the lead of the race. Down at the hairpin, David Bowman launches down the inside of Carlos Leon and goes 4th but runs wide coming out of the corner. That bunches everybody up. It's going to be a dogfight into turn 4. That allows the top 3 to break away. So it's Besler, still Ward, and then van der Laan, and David Bowman does get to the head of the next group. So he now goes 4th. Carlos Leon, the former race leader, is down to 5th. I think Hugo Ellis has come back up to 6th place. Ollie Varney was the one that got hung out to dry in all of that and has ended up losing a couple of places. So back down to about 8th position, I think it is, for Ollie Varney. Mike Bartels is the one that gained a place and went ahead of Ollie Varney. So a lap and a bit to go into the last corner on the penultimate lap of the race. Berke Besler, 1.5 kart lengths clear, but that will come down to nothing with the slipstream. Brett Ward is going to give a slipstream, though, to the man behind him, Mauricio van der Laan, the driver who started on pole position. It's 3 of them together on this last lap of the race. And Brett Ward now makes his move down the inside into turn 2. He leads. Mauricio van der Laan follows him for second. Berke Besler demoted to 3rd place. And this would mean, if it stays first for Ward and 3rd for Besler, it would mean they would arrive at the final on the grid tied for the points lead. Fantastic stuff. So 3 together here into turn 4. Still some racing to be done here, but Brett Ward for the first time in the race leads the pack. Less than a lap to hang on to it. Mauricio van der Laan is not done yet, though. He's not keen to start second on the grid. Berke Besler's trying to go around the outside of him. It's side by side for fourth as well, but David Bowman just about fends off Carlos Leon, and now he goes three abreast. Berke Besler tries a move, can't get through. Brett Ward has he been passed by Van der Laan? Possibly, as they went three abreast coming up towards the final turn. It is mega close between them, and he did slip back. He did drop back behind Mauricio Van der Laan. So as they went three abreast, Besler dropped out of the running as he had to get on the brakes and avoid contact. Van der Laan carried the speed, and it's Mauricio Van der Laan who somehow fights back to win the race. Second place to Brett Ward. Third place then goes to Berke Besler. David Bowman fourth. Carlos Leon fifth. Hugo Perez in sixth place. Mike Vitals comes home in seventh place. Terrific drive from Mike from 15th on the grid. Ollie Varney eighth. Jonathan Brown gains a couple of places in ninth. Sean Robinson rounding out the top 10. Absolutely fantastic race that, and it sets us up beautifully for the championship decider with the final this afternoon, because Mauricio Van der Laan, who is he's not a feature in terms of the championship front runners, he's on pole position. Brett Ward has just got 33 points for finishing in second place, and the points leader Berke Besler has got 32 points for finishing in third, and that now means that there is just 1 point between Berke Besler and Brett Ward going into the final round. Hugo Ellis has dropped a few points to them, but and David Bowman is going to be pretty close to him, having had a good race. So there, the graphics on screen. Unfortunately for Christophe Chani, after a really good race, he dropped back late on to finish down in 13th place, but looks very quick and might well come through the field in the final. Well done then, Mauricio Van der Laan. His winning streak continues. He'll be on pole for this afternoon.